Hello and welcome to episode 78 of the What Shara Made podcast. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer, and a big hello if this is the very first episode you're watching of my podcast. It has been quite a while since my last episode. I believe it was July 2019 when I published my last episode, so it's been some time. So I've got a lot of things to show you. I don't actually have everything with me that I've made since then, because some of it has been given away, some of it has been put away, some of it has just got a new home, and some of it I just couldn't find, and some of it I've forgotten, I'm sure, because it's been a while. But I will show you quite a few things. I don't have any whips to show you. Maybe I do have one. I'll get it in a minute, actually. But I've got quite a few FOs and a couple of acquisitions. Some are my designs, some are other people's, quite a few are other people's actually. And I'm not going to show them to you in chronological order of how they became, when they became FOs or anything like that. I'm just going to show them to you. And it might be a bit of a long one, so you might want to pause and go and grab yourself a drink, a cup of tea maybe. But I'm going to dive straight into it. So my first one that I'm going to show you is a pair of socks, and they're my very first FO for 2020, and they are called Not Your Average Cat Lady Socks by Emma Carrion, and I think that's how you pronounce Emma's surname, but if it's not, my apologies, Emma. And this pattern was so cool. I love these socks so much. Beautifully written pattern. Loved it. Highly recommend the pattern. It's so cool. Really easy, really quick, because it's quite popcorny, because you do one little bit and you think, I'll just do the next bit because I want to see how this pattern's coming out, and you think, I'll just do the next 5 rows because I just want to see what the next bit's like, and you think, I'll just do up to row 15 because I just want to see what the next bit looks like, and next thing you know, you've got the leg done. Then in the pattern she has an afterthought heel, but I just popped in a short row heel. It was no trouble to do that, but you could also follow the pattern as written and do the afterthought heel as well, in which case it would probably be a little bit faster because you would just keep going with your pattern, your colour work pattern. And then you just keep going down the foot, and you don't have to stop at any particular point or anything like that. You just go until your foot is long enough, and then you just do toe. Really simple, really satisfying. Absolutely love this pattern, highly recommended. So that's Not Your Average Cat Lady Socks by Emma Carrion. And you'll notice here that I made a mistake right there. And as soon as I had finished the foot and done the toe, I looked down and went, oh, and I could see the mistake straight away. And I'd just done one row twice in the colour work, and it's really noticeable. There was no way I was undoing it. I can live with that. But this one appears to be fine, although I did think I'd also done something weird in this one as well, but who cares? They're going in my shoes. I love them. Anyway, could not be happier with these socks or this pattern, and I'll happily knit another pair. Can't wait to get another pair on the needles actually. And the yarn is Inca Spun Heritage. I don't know the colourway names. I don't know that they actually have colourway names. If they do, they're not on the label. They just said numbers. I've got fluff in my eye though. Podcasting hazard. I'll have to make some funny faces and get that out. But it's an alpaca merino nylon blend, and it's gorgeous. I got that at my local yarn store and I really love it. And I used almost the whole ball. They come in 50-gram balls, and I used almost a whole ball of the rusty colour for both socks. So one 50-gram ball for both socks, and had maybe 3 grams left over. And I used maybe 26 or 27 grams of the navy blue. That's actually a navy blue in there. And so now I'm using the leftover navy blue in another pair of socks, which I'll show you in a minute. And I went back and bought another ball in a different colour of this yarn from my local yarn store because I really love it. And I'm doing another pair of colourwork socks, but I'll show you those later because they're my one and only whip that I've got at the moment. Not even kidding. So my next FO is a gigantic one, and I literally just pulled it off the blocking board this like minutes ago. I left it outside blocking and went down the street to run some errands and get some groceries, and when I came back, my dog was having a leisurely little snooze on my shawl in the backyard because I had it on the deck in the backyard drying in the sun. And I'm like, hello Rosie, are you okay? Are you right there? And she was like, yes thanks, this is lovely. I love that you've put this lovely shawl out here for me to lay on. Thank you, it's very nice. So get off it, Rosie. And, yeah, anyway, so I have had to pluck some dog hairs off it already, but anyway. This is my finished Starflake shawl by Stephen West, and this was his mystery knit along last year, I think in October last year, and I did start it in October last year with the knit along, and I think by the first week I was already behind and I never caught back up. And I don't think that I was amazed that people were able to keep up with this knitting. They must be people who are retired or something, because there is no way I was ever going to be able to keep up with this this pattern. It took me forever, especially the last clue, because the rows are about 70,000 stitches long. They took so long, and the cast off alone, I did that yesterday, and it took me almost 7 hours so to cast off. I'm not even joking. I timed myself. I didn't do it all in one block, but it took me almost 7 hours to cast off the shawl. So yeah, but I'm so glad I got it finished because it looks amazing. I can't show you the whole thing because it's gigantic, but you can get an idea if I wiggle it along. And I went for a pretty neutral palette, as you can see, and just because I had this in my stash, that's why mainly, but also I didn't have any shawls in my repertoire that were reasonably neutral, so I thought they're all very colourful, or have at least one pop colour or bright colour, so I thought I'll make something quite neutral. It actually matches this outfit quite well. I'm wearing black trousers as well, so so there you go. I haven't figured out how I'm going to wear it yet or anything like that, because I literally, as I said, just plucked it off the blocking board just moments ago. But I'll pop in a picture of how it looks in its entirety. So it's quite spectacular. I can see why Rosie needed to have a little snooze on it while I was out. So I'm really happy with it. It feels beautiful actually. The yarns that I've used, I think, are both Knit Picks yarns. This one might be a stroll, and that might be hawthorn. but I'm not entirely sure. They were just something that was hanging around in my stash, and I think I might have bought them for something else and then changed my mind. I don't know, but anyway, they worked out well. Love it, really happy with that. The pattern was really well written, just like all Stephen West's patterns. It was easy to follow. This section here was quite easy, but once you got onto these rows here, there's a lot of stitches and it was quite arduous. They took forever. But a lot of the rows were sort of rest rows. They were just knitting or purling. It wasn't a big deal. But then the patterny rows, you had to really concentrate and count and do. Yeah, they took a long time. Not the sort of thing you could do at midnight or chatting or watching anything with subtitles. So it did take a little bit of concentration, especially on those really, really, really long rows. And the cast off did take a million years. But I'm really happy with that one. So that is my next FO. It's my second FO for 2020. Now this next one that I'm going to show you is part of the reason that I did not keep up with that knit along, because I had some things that I urgently needed to finish in October, because they were due to go into my local show, which was in November. So I had to get a few things finished, and I'll show you those. One of the things that I entered into my local show, well, it's not really local, as in it's not in my town, but it's the localest show to me, that has a craft section, and you can enter crafts into it. And some friends and I did enter some of our crafts in, and we're all quite successful. This is one of the pieces that I entered in, and this is the Taroko sweater by Nomad Stitches, and it's a crochet sweater, and it uses tapestry crochet, which is the colourwork crochet. I'll show you a close-up. It uses a different stitch, the name of which is not single crochet, or what British Australians would you call double crochet, or single crochet if you use US crochet terms. What is the, I'll have to put it down here because I can't remember the name of it, and it was a stitch I'd never done before, and it looks a bit more like knitting. It makes a lovely fabric, but it's very slow, and this took forever. It took a really long time, and when I first embarked on making this sweater, I was thinking, crochet sweater, that'll be so quick, so much quicker than knitting. No, no, it was not. I easily could have knitted 2 sweaters of the same nature in the time, maybe even 3, in the same time that it took me to make this. This took so long, but I'm really happy with it. Really beautiful. It's really nice to wear. I love the look of it. Love it. The original one has short sleeves that end there. I added 3/4 length sleeves and mimicked the lacework that is in the body. I put that on my sleeves as well. They line up with the lacework on the body, and it's the same on the back, just goes around there. Really love it, really love this. Yeah, really interesting pattern to work. It had lots of things in it that I hadn't done before, or that were done a bit differently to how I would normally do them, but I just followed the pattern and stuck with that, besides my modification on the sleeves, and really enjoyed it. It was really good. It was a really good learning curve, and I actually could have gone down a size. I did start off making, I think, the medium. Turned out I did shrink it a bit in the body because it was going to be really wide, like too wide for it to be suitable. and I probably could have made the small or the extra small, so if I was to make it again I would definitely go down a size, perhaps even 2, but that's okay. I was able to modify it as I went and make it more suitable. Yeah, it was a really interesting make. I really enjoyed it, and I've really enjoyed being able to wear it when the weather was cooler. It is definitely not jumper weather at the moment. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and when I entered it in the show, it got a first prize, so I was very happy with that. And my next piece that I entered into the show was this scarf. You can see it's double-sided. There's little tassels. And this is the Tidal scarf, and this pattern is by me. And it's a brioche knit pattern. And I had a really nice time making this. I was actually teaching someone else how to knit brioche using this pattern. I'd already taught them how to do basic brioche stitches, and they wanted to learn how to do some increases and decreases, so we used this pattern to do that, and it was really successful. And they really enjoyed it, and they made a beautiful scarf as well. They used blue and grey, and it looked so beautiful. That's what it looks like on the other side, just in case you're curious. It's quite beautiful as well. And this also got a first prize, so another blue ribbon on this piece. And the next piece, they're safety pinned together, but no, you get the idea, is the third piece that I entered into the show. And each year the show has a theme, and you can make something around the theme, or not, you don't have to, but you can, and you can enter something into the category of the theme. And this year the theme was ladybugs, and I made a pair of socks with little ladybugs on them. And I didn't use a pattern for these. I looked and looked for a pattern online and around in books, all sorts, for a ladybug pattern for socks or mittens or something like that, and I couldn't find anything that I really liked, so I just made one up. And I really love these, really love them, so really happy with those. They came out so beautiful, even if I say so myself. The pattern is made using a combination of I think I made them toe up actually. Yeah, I did. I made them toe up. A combination of mosaic knitting and some non-standard 1x1 cables. And I don't intend on writing a pattern for these socks. The main reason for that is because I did try and write a pattern for it, but it's actually really complicated to, well, I found it very complicated to write the instructions in a manner that were clear enough for someone else to understand. The combination of the mosaic and non-standard 1x1 cables to create the actual colour work. So I won't be making a pattern for those, I'm afraid. So I worked just a normal toe-up toe, then did the colour work until they were the right length, and then did a short row heel, then some more colour work, and then just did some 1x1 rib there. And I just used stash yarn. You can probably recognise some of the colours from my jumper for those. And they also got a first prize, a blue ribbon, so I was like, yes, 3 for 3. I entered 3 things and I got 3 firsts. So that was a nice surprise. my next FO is from a kit that I bought at Bendigo at the Australian Sheep and Wool Show in July. And if you watched my last episode, I believe that was filmed just before I was about to head off to the Australian Sheep and Wool Show in Bendigo. And I had a wonderful time there. It was fantastic. The weather was beautiful, even though it was the middle of winter. And saw lots of fabulous friends there. I went to the Women of Wool luncheon. That was wonderful. Saw some very inspiring speakers there. And I enhanced my stash, of course. And this is one of the things that I purchased a kit for, and the split second I got home, I cast it on, and within a few days I had finished it because I could not put it down because it was very addictive. And that is the Lakeside shawl by My Creative Garage. And it came with the 2 yarns and the pattern, and the pattern is so beautifully published. Not only is it clearly written, beautifully written, so clear, it's so well set out, and it's in this gorgeous booklet. It's beautiful. Highly recommended. And the yarn is just to die for. The colour, oh my god, I love it so much. So, I don't know if you can see, oh yeah, it's coming through. It's, so a fingering weight, 4-ply merino here, and then a kid silk mohair here. So we've got that sheer stripes as well as the opaque stripes, and I love that effect. It's so beautiful. And the merino, you can see those little sparkles here. These solid stripes have got a little bit of gold stellina in them, and it's so beautiful. And the stripes are all different widths, and they change. It's such a lovely effect. And I've been wearing, I think this was my most worn piece last year. I just adored it. And I got so many compliments on this beautiful piece. And I wore it around, and it's long enough to sort of tie it up like that. And I just wore this piece non-stop last winter, and then into spring, so we had a very late start to summer last year. Yeah, I wore this piece non-stop. It's so soft and gorgeous, and it's really pretty with its little soft, fluffy mohair lines and a little bit of sparkle. Love it, absolutely love it. Yeah, one of my favourite pieces that I've made. Just love it, absolutely love it. The colour, everything about it. Yep, absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend that shawl. So that's a Lakeside shawl by My Creative Garage. I highly recommend the whole kit actually, because it's just perfect. Just the whole lot. Beautiful. Love it. But I'm going to take that off because it's actually really warm today, as usual. My next FO, I'll show you one that you may have already seen before, and that is my All of My Pine wrap. So if you follow me on Instagram, you may have already seen this piece. It's been quite popular on Instagram and on Ravelry, so thank you very much for that. This was the pattern that I wrote for Advent calendars in 2019. But as you can see, you don't have to use Advent calendars for it at all. That's not necessary. But it just so happens that it works with an Advent calendar, and which I'll show you in a moment, because I've used an Advent calendar for my next All of My Pine wrap. So let me grab an end of it so you can see how it looks. So you've got that. I've actually worn this one quite a bit too. It's quite nice, and you see my big mosquito bite there. It's really itchy. It's been really nice to wear around just on slightly cooler evenings if you're wearing short sleeves, just standing around outside, strangling myself. A little muscle in my back and I can't move my arms quite properly just yet. So yeah, I've been wearing it around something like this, just to sort of cover my shoulders a little bit, and you can see that sort of stretches out the texture in the brioche and the lace a little bit. I've just used 3 colours in this one. I used 3 100-gram skeins of sock yarn in here. I'm not entirely sure what the yarns were, they were just deep stash, and I just wanted 3 colours that worked well together and had a nice contrast to each other but still would flow nicely into each other, and they do here. But you can use any colours you like, you don't have to have high contrast. Sometimes you don't want high contrast, you want a nice mellow blend, or you want something really subtle, or you just want colours that you like. You don't have to be going for some big colour play or anything like that. You just want to use colours that you like. Go for it, it's your shawl. You know, you're the ruler of your knitting. So that is all of my pine shawl. Yeah, you can even you don't even have to use 3 whole skeins. If you've just got a little bit of this and a little bit of that, just grab it and go. And now I shall show you my one that I made from my advent calendar. And this one, you're getting the first view because I haven't put this as a finished piece on Instagram yet. So here we go. This one's actually a little bit bigger than that one. I'm not sure why, whether because I blocked this one a bit bigger or I don't know what I did. Anyway, this one's much bigger. Where will I start? It starts at this end actually. So there's day 1, and then it progressively goes along here. Just getting a weather warning on my phone there. Don't worry, not in danger. And there's day 24. So quite a difference in all those colours there, isn't there? And it's quite spectacular. I'm really in love with it. I haven't worn it out or anything yet because it's just been too warm since I finished it to wear it anywhere. But I will wear it out. We're not going to have any cool enough days in the coming days to wear it anyway. But this was made using that same pattern that I just showed you, exactly the same. But I used my Rosehip Island advent calendar and I put it on my Instagram. If you have a look on my Instagram on the highlights, I've posted each day as I added it, but I haven't put the finished piece up there yet. So you can see the progression each day as I put each day's new colour in. And that was a really nice thing to do in December. Each day add a new colour, just do 1 stripe each day, and it didn't take too long, and by the end of it I had a beautiful wrap that I could wear around. And was lovely, and I had quite a few people knitting along with me, which was really nice. That's always so much nicer when you've got friends knitting along with you, isn't it? So you get a good cross section of those colours there. They're so beautiful. Those colours are just really gorgeous. And I've got a bit of leftover yarn from each colour as well, and I'm not sure what I'll do with it yet. I've got a few ideas, but I don't know. I'll have a little think about it. So I'm really happy with that one. So that's my Woolamai Pine wrap. I'm really happy there. Now, I have got one single whip, and I'm just going to go and grab it. And I told you that I had been, I had a little bit of the navy blue from my Not Your Average Cat Lady socks left over, and I'd gotten myself another ball of the Heritage, Inkerspun Heritage to add to it, so I can make another pair of colourwork socks, and that's what I've done. And I've only just started them, so there's not a lot to show, but these are the beginnings of a pair of Hiatus socks, and that's a pattern by me. And they are they're mosaic knitting, so it doesn't don't have any giant floats or anything like that inside, and you're only ever using one colour at a time, so it's not like traditional colour work. If you haven't done mosaic knitting before, it's not like traditional colour work. It's very easy. If you can knit, you can do mosaic knitting. That is there. So that's going to be my next pair of socks that are coming along. So that's my one and only whip that I have at the moment. But I plan on having 2 whips by the end of today, because I'm about to cast on, as soon as I finish here with you, I'm about to cast on something else, and it's a garment this time. And I'll just show you the yarn that I'm going to use. Excuse me for reaching off screen here. The piece that I'm going to cast on is from the Pom Pom magazine issue 29. I've got it written down here in my notes. Let's see. So it is from Pom Pom Quarterly issue 29, and it's the, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but Argyle Tank. I'll put it here. And that's by Claire Lakewood. And I'll put a picture of it here. It's really gorgeous. And I've seen a lot of variations of it colour-wise. People haven't really done too many variations of it, as in adding physical modifications to it. But I'm going to use this yarn here. Believe it or not, they are the same yarn. I think I wound one inside out and one around the other way, but I don't know how much difference that's going to make. I might rewind one of the balls so that they're both around the same way. Anyway, that is what I've done. That's the yarn I'm going to use. It's called Milton, and I can't remember the brand. I'll put it here. And it's a cotton bamboo blend. I've used it before, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. And I just thought that might make an interesting little tank top for summer. Be a bit of interest with that multicolour, and I think that colour will look okay on me. I don't know, I guess I'll find out. I don't think it'll take too long to knit, but I could have just cursed myself there with that, just like when I thought that Taroko sweater would be really quick because it was a crochet sweater, but my god, it took forever. So as soon as I finish here, I'm going to cast on that sweater. Oh my god, I can't wait, I'm so excited. But that is going to be my next whip, the Argyle Tank exciting. I don't know. By Claire Lakewood. Really excited. So hopefully the next time I podcast, I'll be showing you the results of that cast on. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And my next acquisition, I should have shown you right after I showed you this, because along with all these beautiful yarns in my advent calendar, yarn advent calendar from Rosehip Island, it was a tea advent calendar, and you'll notice that if you have a look at the highlights on my Instagram, that each day came with its own individual tea. So a tea bag, and the colour relates to the tea, so each colour related to the specific tea that it came with. Yes, that's right. And then on day 25, so Christmas Day, this was the yarn that we opened on Christmas Day, and it's rather spectacular, and it is called Special Blend. And it's the Delicious Sock base from Rosehip Island, of course, and it's 85% Australian superwash merino and 15% nylon. And there's even a little teapot stitch marker. How cute's that? It's so sweet. I love it. I don't know what I'm going to knit with this because it's so beautiful. I don't want to use it. I know, how silly is that? Maybe I'll make myself a pair of spectacular socks. I don't know. And my next acquisition, I don't normally show acquisitions, but I have to because these are so gorgeous. I'm going to reach off screen one more time. Excuse me. This one here is from Louie and Lola, and they're in Tasmania. And check this out. Oh my god. Get it. Can you see that sparkle? This was their Christmas sock, like colourway. I don't know what they call it. I don't know that it actually has a name. It probably did on the website, but it doesn't have one on the label. It is so gorgeous. I cannot wait to knit with this. I don't know what pattern I'll use, but I love it. I just want to look at it. I just think it's so beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Love it to death. As soon as I saw this on their Instagram, I knew I had to get it. I went straight through and bought it as soon as it popped up. And then my next gorgeous acquisition is this one from Luli Yarn, and they are very local to me. How gorgeous is this? Oh, that colour, I just love it, and it's got a really gorgeous name too, but now I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it. I haven't got my glasses on, so it literally could say anything. Goodness me. It had a really cool name as well. I should look it up and put it down here because it had a really cool name. But it is 40% merino, 20% nylon, and 40% Highland. I don't know what that means, but I think that's how they get that cool twisty thing. I don't know. I'm not doing a very good job of describing it. Just I guess use your eyes. Sorry everyone. That is so cool. Love it to death. Now let me check my notes because I had to write myself some notes so I didn't forget anything. Yes, I've done that. Yes, 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 yeah, no, yes, yes, no, yes, yes, no. Okay. So the other thing that I did last year, you might remember me talking about it if you watched some episodes last year, was I knit a pair of socks every month for 12 months as a part of the Grocery Girls Sock Bash, and I was successful. I actually managed to knit a pair of socks every month within the calendar month and enter it into the Sock Bash thread every month. Cannot believe it. Sometimes I was really pushing it, I would usually get like one sock or maybe half a sock done during the month, and then on the last day or two of the month I'd be power knitting the second sock pretty much every month, except for January. I think I knit a pair of socks in the first 2 weeks or something of January. The rest I was knitting right up until on the very last day of the month, like really power knitting the sock. But I did it, and I cannot believe I did it. Some months were a bit of a push, but I did it. So in the end, I had 12 pairs of, at least 12 pairs of socks. I have ended up with more pairs of socks than 12 because some months I ended up knitting more pairs, but anyway, I did it, and I've now entered all my socks into the whole year thread, so I'm officially entered into the whole thing. I'm so pleased with myself about that, thank goodness. So fingers crossed. But yeah, I did it. I don't know if I'll do it again this year because some days I did feel a little bit pressured to get my socks in on time, but I have indeed knit a pair of socks in January that I started in January and finished in January, so I could indeed enter now. So maybe I will do that, I don't know. But I did do it, and here is my 12 socks. So that's my 12 socks that I knit for the Grocery Girls sock bash. Some of those pictures aren't great, but I had to do them right at the last minute just to enter them. What else is on my list here? Oh, and the other thing that I did is got my rigid heddle loom out, and it had been so long since I had used my loom that I had forgotten how to warp my loom, and I had to look that back up and watch a few videos on YouTube, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And then I actually had forgotten how to use my loom. I thought it'd be just like riding a bike. Once I got it out, I would be like, oh yeah, that's right, that's how it works. No, it wasn't like that at all. I had to watch several videos multiple times on YouTube, and then I was like, oh, that's not what I was going to do. Oh, that's definitely not what I was going to do. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Oh, that's what that thing's for. Right. So I had definitely lost the knack. But once I got into it and I had watched those few videos, it was smooth sailing. And I made my sister a scarf for her birthday. And she really loves it, thank goodness. And now I keep thinking of all sorts of other things that I could be doing on my rigid heddle loom. So I have not put the loom away. It is, well, I've put it back in its box, but I haven't put it away. And I think I'll be doing a few more things on the rigid heddle loom. So I'll pop a couple of pictures in here of what I made. And so that's the scarf that I made for my sister, and that was all stash yarn as well. So that was nice to get some beautiful yarns actually made into living things. And I think it could actually be a good way to use some of my stash yarn as well. So yeah, that could be something else you might see this year as well. And the next thing I need to do is announce some pattern winners for the 2019 Stash Busting Craft Along. So if you are part of my Ravelry group, you would all already be well aware of the year-long Stash Busting Craft Along, and you would also know that I have not announced a prize winner for the months of July, August, September, October, November or December, or the whole year prize winner. So if you can see your name on the screen now, you are the July, September, October, November and December winners, and you need to contact me and let me know which individual pattern on Ravelry you would like, and I will happily gift that individual pattern to you on Ravelry. Just let me know which one you want. It doesn't have to be one of my patterns, it can be any pattern, any single pattern on Ravelry, and I will happily send that to you. And when I draw those winners, for the July one I go from the 1st of January to the last day of July and use a random number generator, and for the August one I go from the 1st of January to the last day of August, and so on and so forth, when I draw those winners, just in case you're wondering. And for the whole year prize winner, if you can see your name here now, congratulations. You get to choose 3 patterns, so 3 individual patterns on Ravelry that you like. You can let me know their names and I will happily send those to you. Congratulations to everybody who has taken part in that craft along. There are so many amazing pieces in that thread. If you haven't had a look in that thread, do yourself a favour and have a scroll through. It is amazing. I am definitely guilty of adding to my pattern stash from that thread, that is for sure, and I've even purchased yarn after looking through that FO thread as well, because I've seen so many beautiful yarns in there. I'm like, oh, okay, and have followed the trail and ended up purchasing yarn. So instead of busting my stash, I've been enhancing my stash, but that's life. So thank you to everyone who's taken part in that, and if you're a prize winner, contact me via Ravelry and let me know the pattern you're after. And thank you so much to everyone who's joined me for this episode, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.